Who let HOA Karen take the throne? In Sunny Hills. Ever wonder how a tiny fence could turn a whole neighborhood into a war zone? Welcome to Sunny Hills, Charlotte, North Carolina. A place where peace went out the window the day HOA Karen, a middle-aged woman with a bleach blonde bob and a nosy stare, climbed into the HOA president's chair. Karen wasn't just into power. She was obsessed with it. Armed with a fat HOA rule book and a fake smile, she declared, "I'm gonna make Sunny Hills perfect, whether you like it or not." Perfect how, though, when the whole place is now drowning in drama and lawyer bills? It all kicked off when Karen set her sights on Edith Thompson, a 72-year-old widow with shaky hands but a steel spine, just because she dared to put up a little wooden fence on her side yard to keep her dog Buddy from running wild. "Rules are rules," Karen barked through a mile-long email, ignoring the fact that Frank across the street had the same kind of fence for 15 years without a peep. Then she turned on Jimmy Carter. No, not the ex-president, but a new guy in town growing veggies behind a side yard fence. Karen sued them both, jacking up the HOA's legal costs from $750 in 2021 to $42,000 by 2024. Neighbors started yelling, "We paid dues for the park, not to bankroll her lawyers." But Karen met her match in Marge Sullivan, a 68-year-old ex-HOA board member with silver hair and a razor-sharp glare. Marge dug through old papers and found out Karen never got the umbrella insurance the rules required, just bragged about a $1 million policy that had expired. "She's tearing Sunny Hills apart," Marge shouted at a public meeting where 25% of the residents forced Karen to face the music. Karen stammered, I'm doing this for the community." But no one bought it. Then came the twist that floored everyone. Marge pulled out proof. Karen wasn't even a legit resident. She was just a cousin of an old homeowner sneaking in to siphon HOA funds. The meeting exploded. The court later smashed Karen's lawsuits, making the HOA eat the $42,000 lawyer fees. Karen got booted, Marge took over, and Edith and Jimmy kept their fences. Sunny Hills sighed in relief. Justice won, and Karen? Probably packing her bags in shame. Edith Thompson, 72, isn't the type to stir up trouble. She just wanted a short little wooden fence on her side yard to stop Buddy from darting across the street. To her, it was no big deal. Sure, HOA rules said fences only go in backyards, but she glanced at Frank across the way and saw his side yard fence standing tall for 15 years with no fuss. "It'll be fine," she told herself, hobbling out with her cane, chuckling as Buddy danced around her feet. But she had no clue HOA Karen's hawk eyes were watching. Karen, the HOA prez, with her blonde bob and a knack for meddling, didn't miss a thing. One day later, Edith got a thick letter from Karen, violation, stamped in huge, bold letters. "Tear that fence down or see me in court," Karen wrote, piling on a list of rules so long Edith needed a magnifying glass to read it. She muttered, "This lady's got too much time. My fence isn't hurting anybody." It didn't stop there. Karen didn't just target Edith. She swung her glare to Jimmy Carter, the new guy down the street. Jimmy put up a side yard fence for his veggie garden, thinking, who cares about a few tomatoes? Karen cared. She fired off the same letter to him, then bam, slapped lawsuits on both of them faster than you can blink. Sunny Hills started buzzing when folks saw the HOA's legal bills shoot from $750 in 2021 to $42,000 in 2024. Frank, sipping coffee, growled, "I paid dues to fix roads, not for her to play lawyer." Edith wasn't backing down. She hobbled to the HOA meeting with her cane, pointing right at Karen. "You sue me over my fence, but what about Frank's? It's been there 15 years. Karen's face went red, snapping, "The past is the past. I'm in charge now." Edith smirked. "In charge of what? Sending our money to lawyers?" The room roared, and Edith's little fence sparked a fight way bigger than she'd imagined. Who knew? This drama was just getting started. HOA Karen wasn't messing around. The second she spotted Edith's side yard fence, she hammered out a full-page warning letter. Red cap screaming, "Tear down that fence in 7 days or face court." Edith held the letter, hands trembling, grumbling, "What's wrong with her? It's just a fence, not like I burned her house down." But Karen didn't quit. She shot her sharp eyes over to Jimmy Carter, the new guy with a tiny side yard fence for his veggies. "Another rule breaker," she muttered, firing off an identical letter to him with a lawsuit threat tacked on. Jimmy, dirt still on his hands from his tomato patch, read it and scratched his head. "I thought the HOA cared about streets, not my garden." Karen didn't give a rip what anyone thought. She hired a lawyer and filed suits against Edith and Jimmy in a flash, stirring up all of Sunny Hills. Folks started pulling out receipts. Legal costs jumped from $750 in 2021 to $42,000 in 2024. Frank, Edith's neighbor, slammed the table at morning coffee. "She's using our money to play lawyer games." Edith wasn't sitting still. She hobbled over to Jimmy's with her cane, saying, "She's suing us but letting Frank off. What kind of rules are these?" Jimmy nodded. "We've got to fight back." They were fired up, not realizing that little fence had lit a fire under Karen's reign. Things were heating up now. Sunny Hills got messy as hell when the HOA's legal bills came to light. Back in 2021, the whole place spent just $750 on small stuff, fixing signs, hiring lawn guys. By 2024, that number rocketed to $42,000, all dumped into lawyers' pockets over Karen's fence lawsuits. Edith and Jimmy were just two targets, but that huge chunk of cash pissed off the whole neighborhood. Frank, who'd been there 15 years with his own side yard fence untouched, banged his fist at coffee time. "I pay dues for roads, not for Karen's courtroom circus." People started digging through papers, whispering in backyards. $42,000? That's a damn truck for the neighborhood, one said. "She thinks she's a judge or something," another chimed in. Karen, with her blonde bob and stuck-up chin, didn't care. She sent a long-winded email to everyone, acting like royalty. "We've got to enforce rules. Costs are necessary." But no one swallowed it when they saw the reserve fund. Money saved for parks and lights, drying up over fences. Edith, leaning on her cane, watched Buddy romp around, muttering, "She's suing me over this and burning our cash. Crazy woman." Jimmy, shovel in hand from his garden, snapped, "I'd rather pay a fine than let her waste it." Frank went door to door, voice raspy. "We've got to do something, or Karen'll wreck Sunny Hills." The three of them rallied neighbors, pulling out calculators. They figured out not only was money flying out, but Karen skipped the required umbrella insurance. If they lost a lawsuit, the whole place was screwed. Anger simmered, then exploded. A small crew met at Frank's, deciding, "We're taking her down." That tiny fence had turned into a full-on battle for cash and justice. Karen had no clue, but her throne was shaking hard. Marge Sullivan, 68, wasn't one to sit back while Sunny Hills fell apart. With her silver hair and piercing stare, she'd been on the HOA board before retiring, but now she stood up, old papers in hand, ready to face off with HOA Karen. Marge had smelled trouble for a while, and when legal bills hit $42,000, she started digging. What she found floored everyone. The HOA had no umbrella insurance, something the rules demanded to shield residents if a lawsuit tanked. "She's left us naked in a storm," Marge roared at a meeting at Frank's place. Karen, flashing her fake smile, tried to dodge. "We've got a $1 million policy. I'm working on bumping it to $3 million. But Marge wasn't having it. She held up a crumpled sheet, voice steady. "Expired last year, Karen. You're lying through your teeth." The room erupted. Edith clapped. Jimmy whistled. Marge pointed right at her. "You sue folks over fences, burn our money, and leave us uninsured? You trying to be king, or just wreck the place?" Karen went pale, stammering, I'm here for the community." Nobody bought it. Marge, with years of handling messes on the board, smelled a bigger rat. "You're abusing power, Karen. Where's all that cash going?" People started murmuring, eyes narrowing at Karen. Marge grabbed a pen, wrote up a call for a public meeting, and told everyone, "We're dragging her down." From a quiet ex-board member, Marge turned into the spark of a rebellion. Karen didn't know it yet, but a real storm was coming. HOA Karen knew she was backed into a corner. After Marge spilled the insurance mess, she rushed out a long-ass letter to all of Sunny Hills, typed up tight like she was fooling someone. "We've got a $1 million liability policy. I'm pushing for $3 million. So relax," she wrote, sounding smug as hell. She even tossed in a cheesy line. "I'm doing this all for the community." But folks weren't falling for it anymore. Frank grumbled, crumpling the letter. "Sounds nice, so why's our money vanishing?" Marge Sullivan, sharp as a blade, wasn't letting Karen slide. She dug through old junk in her garage, pulling out a beat-up insurance contract stamped red, expired June last year. She hauled it to a meeting in Edith's yard, holding it high for all to see. "Here's your insurance, Karen. Dead for a year. You lie without blinking." The crowd went wild. Edith smirked. Jimmy slapped his knee. "Damn good actress." Karen stood there, face red as a beet, clutching her papers like she'd ripped them apart. I forgot to renew it, but I'm fixing it," she stuttered, voice shaky. Marge didn't let up. "Forgot? Or did you mean to let our cash flow somewhere else?" That hit Karen like a punch. She froze. People yelled, "You've trashed Sunny Hills enough." Karen turned to walk off, but everyone knew she was done. Marge held that expired sheet, grinning. "Watch out, Karen. Truth don't let go." Sunny Hills folks weren't sitting around while HOA Karen ran wild anymore. After Marge exposed the expired insurance and $42,000 legal sinkhole, the place was boiling. Frank grabbed a petition, banging on doors. "Sign this. We're dragging her into the light." Edith, cane in hand, signed with a flourish. Jimmy scrawled his name by his veggie patch. In 3 days flat, they nabbed 25% signatures, way past the 20% needed to force Karen into a public showdown. "She's got nowhere to hide," Frank chuckled, rubbing his hands. Meeting night hit, and the common yard was packed. Karen stood center, face stiff, blonde bob flapping in the breeze. Edith stepped up, voice quivery but solid. "You sue me over my side yard fence, but Frank's had one just like it for 15 years. Why not him? Your rules for show or what? The crowd roared, some clapping loud. Jimmy jumped in, dirt on his hands. You say you're protecting us, so why pick me and Edith, but skip a dozen others? What kind of enforcing is that? Karen fumbled, eyes darting. I had to start somewhere. The past doesn't count. But shouts drowned her out. You burned our money on lawyers and say that? Someone hollered. Marge stood by, arms crossed, smirking. Selective enforcing's illegal, Karen. You're toast. They waved their petition high, chanting, Step down. Karen went pale, backing off. She was out of moves. Sunny Hills had its voice back, and Karen was just a fading shadow. The public meeting in Sunny Hills turned into a damn madhouse. Folks crammed the common yard, air thick like an oven. Edith, 72, hobbled up with her cane, voice shaky but fierce. You sue me over my side yard fence, Karen? But Frank's got the same damn thing for 15 years. Why not him? What about the other 10 houses? You blind or just picking favorites? The crowd went nuts, some yelling, Hell yeah! Jimmy Carter, hands gritty from his garden, piled on. You hit me and Edith, but let a ton of other fences slide. What kind of president are you, playing favorites? Karen stood there, face flaming, blonde bob a mess in the wind. She raised a hand, trying to stay cool. I had to start somewhere. The past is done. I'm doing it right now. But her voice cracked, and no one was buying it. Frank shot up, pointing hard. Right, how? When you blew $42,000 of our cash on lawyers. Explain that. The place erupted. Yeah, where's the money? Karen stumbled. I'm protecting the community. Whistles and shouts buried her. Edith grinned. Protecting by emptying our pockets? Tension was tight as a wire when Marge Sullivan, 68, stepped up clutching yellowed papers. With silver hair and a steely gaze, Marge waved for quiet. Listen up, she said, low but firm as nails. Karen's not just overstepping. She's got no right to be here. Everyone froze. Karen went white, gripping her shirt. Marge held up the old sheet. I dug through garage files. Karen's no legal resident of Sunny Hills. She's the cousin of Linda Hayes, old owner at 27 Oak Street, sold it 3 years back. Karen snuck in, faked it to run for president. The yard blew up. What? Frank bellowed, eyes bulging. Edith, leaning on her cane, laughed loud. Holy crap, she's a fraud, Jimmy whistled. Great acting gig. Marge kept going, voice like iron. She's not on the homeowner list, pays no dues, but runs our budget. Where'd that $42,000 go? Bet it's not just lawyers. People screamed, she stole our cash. Karen backed off, pale as a ghost, mumbling, no, not true. I'm just staying there. Marge cut her off. Staying and ruling? More like faking to rake it in. The crowd boiled over. Frank rolled up his sleeves. Get her out now! An old lady waved her cane. Give our money back! Karen spun to bolt, but folks blocked her path. Hold it! Jimmy yelled, shovel in hand like a threat. Marge flashed the papers, smirking. You're done, Karen. Real law's coming for you. Shouts shook the sky. Everyone was riled up. Edith sank into a chair, petting Buddy, whispering, See that, pup? Justice still kicks. Karen stood alone in the angry storm. Marge's bombshell didn't just expose her. It blew her throne to bits. Sunny Hills wasn't just fighting for fences anymore, but for their whole damn community. Karen hung her head, knowing she'd lost. The drama wasn't over, but the residents had victory in their grip. After that wild meeting, Sunny Hill's drama hit the roof when it landed in court. Edith and Jimmy, backed by the whole crew, faced off with HOA Karen and her shaky HOA. Judgment Day came, rooms stuffed with neighbors, all on edge. The judge, an old guy with white hair and thick glasses, slammed his gavel. Selective enforcement's illegal. The HOA's got no right suing Thompson and Carter while ignoring dozens of other violations. The place exploded. Edith hugged Buddy with a big grin. Jimmy punched the air. We won! Karen sat in the corner, face drained, blonde bob flat like it had been hit by a gust. The judge went on. HOA's stuck paying the $42,000 lawyer fees, no passing it to the defendants. Frank jumped up, yelling, "Serves her right!" The HOA's reserve fund, already shrunk from her dumb lawsuits, was now bone dry. Folks swapped looks, pissed their years of dues went down the drain, but damn glad justice stepped up. Word spread through Sunny Hills like wildfire. That night, everyone piled into Edith's yard for a victory bash. Jimmy brought veggies to grill, Frank hauled in beer, and Marge stood tall, raising a glass. We took down the faker. Edith, stroking Buddy, chuckled. She thought suing me was a breeze. Didn't see the whole block crushing her. Karen didn't dare show her face. Rumor was she'd snuck out, leaving an empty rental behind. The community kept rolling. They voted Marge in as temp president fast, and she swore, "No more stupid lawsuits. Fences are fine. Just check first." Sunny Hills exhaled, peace back in play. Edith stuck a little sign by her fence. Buddy won, Karen 0. Justice won, Karen crashed hard, and the neighbors soaked in a brighter future. Drama's done, but this tale's gonna live on. Hey, you heard the Sunny Hills drama yet? Edith and Jimmy came out on top. Karen grabbed her bags and bolted quiet, and the whole place partied like they hit the jackpot. But let me spill some behind-the-scenes stuff, like we're chugging beers and chatting. First off, so you get it, HOA laws in the U.S. are pretty clear. They can set rules for the neighborhood, like that no side yard fences thing Karen clung to. But that power's got limits. They can't break federal or state laws. Like here, the judge slammed down that selective enforcement's illegal. You don't get to sue Edith and Jimmy while letting Frank and a bunch of others slide. That's a property rights violation right there. If Karen had half a brain, she might have dodged that mess. The ADA, Americans with Disabilities Act, didn't come up, but if Edith proved that fence helped her get around safe, Karen be toast too. Law doesn't mess around. What's the takeaway? 1. A united community's badass. Look, from Edith with her cane, Jimmy with his veggies, to Marge digging up old papers, everyone pitched in to topple Karen. 2. Know your rights. Karen ran wild thinking folks were scared, but once they clocked her as a fake, she was sunk. 3. Don't shut up when stuff's unfair. If everyone stayed quiet, Karen'd still be riding roughshod over Sunny Hills. So how do you dodge this crap? Keep proof first. Snap pics, save letters, record if you can. Karen almost slipped through with her lies, but Marge had the goods. Second, talk to a lawyer. Don't let threats scare you. Third, team up with neighbors. One's tough, but a crowd's a game changer. Like in Sunny Hills, 25% signatures had Karen shaking. Man, this ending rocks. Edith's got her fence for Buddy, Jimmy's growing veggies free, and Karen's probably kicking herself. Sunny Hills is chill now, all because they didn't back down. If you liked this video and want me to crank out more drama like this, drop a 1 in the comments. telling you this stuff's a blast, like shooting the breeze over beers.